And it's time now for The Clash. Now, while eco-extremists continue to wage a war on meat, one no-nonsense farmer has revealed the stark reality of their delirious dream world. Gareth Wyn-Jones, star of the BBC's The Family Farm, has warned the push to go plant-based will harm livestock farmers whose land has little or no agricultural value, which in turn could lead to food shortages in mere months. He claimed scared farmers are already producing less due to the increasingly cutthroat standards of supermarkets, who are instead, quote, trying to cash in on people's belief that they will save the planet by eating fake meat. This is what he had to say on the Daily Telegraph podcast Planet Normal.
We're looking at these massive corporations now with their oat milks and their soya milks and whatever, and this is saving the planet. Environmentalists say we need to stop all livestock production. Now, these are things that are going to make people hungry, and I am telling you now, this is a fact. This world is sleepwalking into food shortages if we're not careful.
So should we, as a nation, keep eating meat out of principle to support our farmers and send a message to these eco-zealots? Well, obviously, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Dan at gbnews.uk, at GBNews. Our Twitter poll is running. But duking it out now, the figures at the heart of this story. It's the man himself, Britain's favourite farmer, Gareth Wyn-Jones, and a spokesperson for Animal Rebellion, Nathan McGovern. So, Gareth, look, it seemed to me like you were making very reasonable points. And it's not like you are against these vegan activists, but in fact, we have to keep eating meat, don't we?
Yeah, well, it's a good way of getting protein into your body. It's very healthy, nutritious. My family's been on this farm, farming this land 375 years. And it's a sustainable, environmentally friendly way of producing protein from marginal land. Let's not forget, a lot of the UK is marginal. We have a great temperate climate, which grows grass and different flora and fauna, where the sheep and the cattle can graze, and we can eat them. And we do get a few byproducts, as in leather, and we do get wool as well. So it's a win-win. And, I'm never, ever going to tell anybody else what to eat. It's a personal choice. But when people start misleading other people with propaganda to say that their diet is going to save the planet, well, that is totally untrue.
Nathan, you need to respond to that, don't you? Because I actually agree with Gareth. You're spouting propaganda here.
Well, first of all, I would actually like to say, I think all of us here agree on a lot more than we disagree on. Just before, in that Telegraph clip, Gareth, I heard you speak about farmers being undervalued. That is a fact, absolutely. We have a government that, is cutting subsidies left, right and centre for farmers, going and pursuing free trade at all costs. You've even talked about yourself the dangers of relying on global food markets when we have massive
Don't you want to stop all livestock farming?
What Animal Rebellion is calling for is a just transition to a plant-based food system.
And no meat whatsoever.
It's about working with farmers to achieve that. And it's about understanding that farmers are the people who are at the front lines of this. Farmers are
what about the members of the public who, like me, who are going to keep eating meat till the day that I die?
Dan, I think there's something very important to understand about the food system we have. As I already said, it's exploiting farmers no end, but it's also exploiting the planet, and it's hugely inefficient. And I'm sure, both of you can agree with me on, this principle of we should have an efficient food system. About 83% of global farmland is used for animal products. That produces only 37%
but
of
Gareth,
our calories.
I was listening to what you were saying earlier, Gareth, that actually you say that farming meat is actually, in many cases, far more efficient and environmentally friendly than a plant-based food system.
Yeah, the problem Nathan doesn't understand is the soil fertility, and without ruminants, we won't have soil fertility. You can only keep planting something in the ground. Can I just ask you, Nathan, how much food do you grow yourself? How much stuff do you plant? And, the percentage of the food that you're growing, are you eating?
Yeah, great question, Gareth. Well, actually at home, I compost as far as I can to plant, in our, small outside area where I live. I plant as much as I can to grow food for myself, you know, because I understand the value of that. And actually, I see the joy that I experience in seeing, you know, what we have planted actually growing.
Well,
But
what
on
about the
that-
joy that I experience eating a steak? Where do you get off telling me what I choose to eat? And that's what I think you need to be honest about here, Nathan, because not only are you telling all farmers to ditch livestock farming altogether, you're actually telling all Brits to stop eating meat altogether, aren't you? You want all of us to turn into unhealthy vegans, fainting all the time, breaking our hips all the time.
Well, I don't think I really embody that emaciated vegan stereotype you might
Well, no,
have
but
in your
you'll
head.
break a hip probably later in life. I don't know if you saw the research earlier this year, but vegans have a far, far higher chance of breaking their hips.
Well, Dan, just to talk about that study, that's one study amongst many. And it's actually not a research about the male biology. It was a research about the female biology. So that might not apply to me.
Well, I think male vegans are very unhealthy too. We need meat and we need plants. Yes, please come in.
Can I just jump in as well? Because I think what we need to be looking at is seasonal. We need to be looking at regenerative. You know, this milk I'm drinking here has travelled about 5 miles. This has come from a grass-fed farm, my friend. It's in a glass bottle. You know, this is not your oat milk or your soya milk or your rubbish that's flown from all over the world, the almond milks. We've got to be sustainable. We need food security in this country.
But Nathan, you have a problem with that bottle of milk, don't you? You actually would rather have one of these bizarre soya milk that has come from the other side of the planet. How do you rationalise that?
Well, I think it's very important to look at the facts. You know, you both talk about peer-reviewed evidence, whether it's here or elsewhere. You know, one such study comes from the University of Oxford in 2018, the most comprehensive review of food production in history. I'm sure Gareth is going to disagree with me on that. I can see him shaking his head. But it remains a massive, massive analysis that rings true on so many accounts when we talk about the efficiency of our food system here. You know, the fact of the matter is that producing dairy milk use multitudes times more land, more water, whilst also producing more emissions.
Oh, he's gone. We've lost him. Nathan, let me ask you, how on earth do you think the British people are going to accept giving up the thing that many of us love more than anything in the world? We want to have a great roast beef on a Sunday. We don't want to have a nut roast. I mean, you're trying to control our lives. Where do you get off?
Well, the people trying to control our lives are at the Home Office and in Parliament right now. They're the ones that are artificially manufacturing low prices in supermarkets. You know, if you look...
No, but just be honest about your agenda, because I'm talking about people who are sitting at home and want to know about the animal rebellion agenda. You are telling us very soon we're not going to be able to eat any meat, aren't you, whatsoever? That's what you want. That's what you want us to do.
Well, what I would love to see is to have a government step up with a bold and decisive politics and support farmers who have been in a cost of living crisis for years longer than the rest of us.
OK. I think we've got Gareth back, so I'm just going to give Gareth the final word. Gareth, I thought you might have stormed off there.
No, I was having a sup of milk. I've got some rabbit problems. We're going out shooting rabbits now just to watch after my veg. But let's have a farming revolution in this country. Let's get people behind British agriculture any which way we can. Yes. And I'm sorry, really nice to meet you, Nathan, but I totally disagree with your animal rebellion.
I'd love to continue this conversation,
diet, and I hope your health holds out. Iechyd da from Wales, living the dream.
Thank you so much to Britain's favourite farmer, Gareth Wyn-Jones, and the spokesperson for Animal Rebellion, Nathan McGovern. So who do you agree with? Should we keep eating meat out of principle? To send a message to eco-extremists like the Animal Rebellion, well, Susan on Twitter says, I only eat meat once or twice a week, but I feel like eating more just to upset these dreadful people. Sean says, why should these eco-zealots tell us what we should eat? They are fascists. If I want to eat meat, it's my choice. It's a free country. And from Elliot, how about we eat meat if we want to, don't eat meat if we don't want to, and respect each other's choices? And your verdict is now in. 92% of you agree that we should keep eating meat out of principle against eco-extremists. Just 8% of you wanting to go vegan.